it's a point of no return and it's a point of divergence. It could take multiple paths.
What's your long-term vision for enabling AI TBT engagements and, more importantly, AI-powered engineers?
In the future, we're looking at AI being part of our teams.
Say you're starting off as a 20-year-old self today. What would be your focus?
I'd say stay more curious, stay open, and stay a little more humble. And prioritizing business doesn't come naturally. You could build more that is relevant for business that will create an impact and value rather than feature that would be used a little lesser.
Siva, you've briefly mentioned about Slingshot in your response. With AI transforming how we work, we are now internally building our own platforms like Slingshot and Bodhi, where we are bringing engineering and AI together to drive productivity and scalability. For a company like ours that's very strong in consulting and services, this definitely marks a shift towards product-led growth. From SD craft, what's your long-term vision for enabling AI TBT engagements and, more importantly, AI-powered engineers?
In the past, I would have used templates or, and the knowledge from the individual experts. Now, with the agents emerging and agentic power, that all the knowledge and, could be transferred and the domain expertise also could be transferred to the agents. And then these agents could then become part of my teams. And in the meantime, from the journey from now to there, right? So to hybrid teams, the adoption of tools and products. So our product suits like Bodhi, let it be Slingshot. These are the starting points. And they will keep on growing, with features and advancements as this technology grows in. And that's the first step of getting them trained, upskilled, and powering them to use AI day to day and apply the AI first mindset, right? And then comes, and it is not limited to our own tools or ecosystems. So Slingshot is our go-to co-pilot for our engineers, right? But that doesn't mean that I will stop there. Right? We'll also be leveraging agent SDKs or the co-pilots and the other frameworks, which will help both in building the solutions and also the efficiencies, right? So I see people being nurtured in their journey and adoption of AI seamlessly, moving towards a future of leaner and hybrid teams, with agents being part of your teams.
I see.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Let me flip the lens for a moment. Say you're starting off as a 20-year-old self today. What would be your focus? What steps would you take?
Stay more curious, stay open, and stay a little more humble to start with. Nurture a PE mindset early on in your career. So a product engineering mindset, which basically connects you to businesses early on. A lot of budding engineers focus purely on technology. And technology and engineering are are more exciting. And there is a reason why, we build the things we do. And that's the call for purpose, and that is connected always to the business, right? So that's something that I would want to do more and more early on, and along with being open, be less opinionated. It's good to have opinions, strong opinions on a tech or a solution thing, but being flexible helps a lot. That also allows you to explore and experiment more. And prioritizing business doesn't come naturally. You could build more that is relevant for business that will create an impact and value rather than feature that would be used a little lesser. Yeah. Last but not least, listen more. Learn to listen more and build more networks, work more with people, and build more connections early on. Become a storyteller, sell more and tell more, uh, and focus on creating value and impact. And the combination of being a very strong techie uh, plus one who's able to uh, be a good storyteller and influence people, and then selling is a superpower. Be an all-rounder and not just remain as a tech geek or a nerd.
What makes our engineers stand out? Is it culture, or is it the liberty that we give to experiment and play around with technologies, or is it something totally different that defines our edge?
There are many things that makes us stand out and unique, but coming from experimentation and the liberty and the freedom to explore and create, right? That's kind of there in the PS DNA. Okay, the SDE craft only augments it and amplifies it, a nurturing supportive ecosystem, both in terms of ability to learn or tools and resources and all that stuff, plus that the space for encouragement. And that, where does that come from, is again from the core values. That said, from an SDE point of view, SDEs are problem solvers at heart, full stack, polyglots, and they come up with that product engineering mindset. They are trained, right? So they're trained. So you come in as an engineer, you become a product engineer, and then now with all the AI focus and stuff, you are well poised to become an AI engineer in the future because you touch a spectrum of things. Right? So learning to question is an art, and that's something that we want to train, or we are investing on training. So these are some of the unique aspects that differentiate us.
Right.
The investment in learning, learn to learn, and now with the emergence of AI moving towards learning to question and question better, these are some of the USPs, I would say.
So the skill about questioning itself, what more do we do?
Starting from our campus grads who join us, they go through a 12-week rigorous transformation journey, literally. So that there is natural evolution. Okay, and this is augmented and supported by the SMEs, the mentors. So the mentorship ecosystem is something that we stay invested a lot, and that's also something unique because that mentorship ecosystem is in addition to your reporting relationships. So that gives you a grounding, a sounding board on both technical and non-technical aspects for for all the SDs to lean upon. And the same thing we apply to our lateral engineers who join us. The speed framework is unique because it touches or brings together geographies, cross-cultural teams, cross-functional teams, and cross-geo. Right, so we would have a strategy team sitting somewhere. The engineers getting to talk to strategy, talk to product teams, talk to experienced teams, work with them in tandem, and throw their ideas and have that open, brave, smart conversations, a self-paced growth path that you could choose, you could define. So you decide, when you are ready for your next levels. Last but not least are also the connected OKRs. Your growth and your learnings are tied to what the craft wants, what you as an individual need, and what the organization wants, and what the client and the account wants.
I love those differentiators that you've said, Siva. Looks like you've put words to the silent strengths that we always carried with us. And now the interesting part, the rapid fire. So no architecture diagrams, no whiteboarding, just vibes. Are you ready for it?
I'll try, no guarantees.
All right, let's do it. The first one, if AI could permanently delete one task from your life, what would it be?
Meetings. I dream of a world when my agentic twin takes over on a cruise mode, and then like I have to appear only for podcasts and biryani.
Good one. All right, so next one. So if Bodhi had a personality,
That's deep. Monk outside, beast inside.
wow. All right. Moving on. What's the fastest way for an engineer to become irrelevant?
To stop learning? No, even worse, stop questioning.
Fantastic. Now, the last one. One AI myth you want everyone to unlearn today.
AI is going to replace engineers. Well, no. AI is going to replace engineers who haven't adopted AI. A big difference.
That's amazing, Siva. Thanks for tuning in.
Hop on the Publicis Sapient AI Express, taking you to uncharted territories and challenges. Let's solve some futuristic problems together.